Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us for this focused exploration today.
Glad to be here.
Our aim is to really get under the skin of a very important topic, due diligence, specifically as it's laid out in Magnus Kjøller's book, Deal Structuring.
Right. And it's a crucial concept. Think of it maybe like buying a used car.
Okay.
You wouldn't just hand over the cash without looking under the hood, checking the engine, kicking the tires.
No, of course not.
Well, due diligence in deals and investments. It's basically that. It's that thorough inspection, investigating a company before you commit serious resources.
That's a great analogy. And Kjøller's chapter, it really serves as a kind of roadmap, doesn't it?
Yeah,
We want to unpack the key steps today, understand why it's so vital, and look at some of the practical aspects using his insights as our guide.
exactly. So at its core, due diligence is it's that essential investigation you conduct before making a big investment call.
Mm.
It's not just a quick glance. It's, a pretty detailed examination to make sure the business you're looking at is actually, well, solid, built on a good foundation.
Okay, let's dig into that a bit. According to Kjøller, what kinds of crucial insights can you really expect to get from doing proper due diligence?
Well, one of the really interesting things he points out is how it lets you fine-tune the actual deal structure.
How so?
So imagine during your investigation, you uncover, say, a significant legal issue that wasn't initially disclosed,
Right, a red flag.
a big one. So armed with that knowledge, you might then insist on specific clauses, maybe indemnities, in the final agreement. Clauses that protect you from liabilities related to that specific issue.
Ah, okay. So it directly impacts the terms.
Precisely. It strengthens your hand in the negotiation. It gives you leverage based on facts you've uncovered.
That makes perfect sense. It's not just about finding problems, but about shaping the deal around them. Now, Kjøller talks about something called a data room. What's that about? Is it like a physical room?
Well, it used to be, maybe decades ago.
Mm.
But now, as Kjøller describes it, it's almost always a secure virtual space, an online portal, basically.
Okay, digital.
Yeah. And this is where the company you're investigating uploads all its vital documents. Things like years of financial statements.
Like balance sheets, income statements.
Exactly. Balance sheets, P&Ls, cash flow statements, the works, so you can see their actual financial health, profitability trends, debt levels.
Got it.
Plus, key legal contracts are usually in there. Supplier agreements, customer contracts, leases, employment agreements, stuff that shows their obligations and potential risks.
And strategic plans, too, I imagine.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Their business plans, market analysis, future projections. It's meant to be a comprehensive repository.
So it's this central online library, essentially, for everything an investor needs to examine. But it sounds like it's more interactive than just reading documents.
Definitely. Kjøller emphasizes that the review process is very much a dialogue. It's iterative, meaning as the investor side, you and your team, your advisors, you go through these documents meticulously. And questions will come up. They always do.
Sure, things might be unclear or you need more detail.
Right. So you submit these questions, usually through the data room platform itself.
Mm.
Then the company responds, provides clarifications, maybe uploads more supporting documents, also into the data room.
Okay, so there's a clear trail.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And this back and forth, this review question-answer cycle, it can repeat many times until the investor feels they have a really clear grasp of the business operations, the risks, the opportunities.
And Kjøller mentions templates.
He does. He points out that many experienced investors or advisory firms use standardized checklists or, templates for their due diligence review.
Why is that helpful?
Well, it helps ensure consistency and thoroughness. Make sure you don't accidentally overlook a critical area: financials, legal, operational, HR, IT, environmental, whatever's relevant. It provides structure to what can be a complex process.
It sounds incredibly systematic, very rigorous. So if we kind of boil it down, due diligence is this vital pre-investment check, often managed through a secure data room involving this back and forth review and questioning.
Yeah.
And the goal is really to uncover potential issues and ultimately negotiate a better, safer deal.
That sums it up pretty well. And the practical side Kjøller talks about really hammers home the need for, actual evidence.
Right. Not just taking their word for it.
Exactly. When you're looking at those financial records, you're searching for, revenue patterns, debt levels, margins, cash flow consistency, real numbers.
In a legal contract.
You're scanning for potential lawsuits, hidden liabilities, regulatory compliance issues, any sort of burdensome long-term commitments they might have. The whole idea, as Kjøller makes clear, is to verify.
Verify the story they've told you?
Yes. Verify the representations the company has made about its health, its performance, its prospects. Does the reality shown in the documents match the narrative?
So it's the ultimate truth-seeking mission before you put your money on the line.
You could say that. By digging into these specifics, you build a much clearer, much more objective picture of the company's real situation. It lets you make a far more informed decision about the risks and potential upside.
Now, reading Keller's take, you definitely get the sense of how valuable this is, the risk reduction, the better negotiating stance, those benefits are clear.
Yeah, they are central to his argument.
But it does make you think, undertaking something this detailed, it must take a lot of time, a lot of resources.
That's a really important point to consider. While Keller's chapter focuses mainly on the how and why, the mechanics and the benefits, the sheer depth of the process he describes, the detailed review, the Q&A, often bringing in lawyers, accountants, maybe industry specialists, it absolutely implies a significant investment.
An investment before the investment.
Exactly. It takes time, it costs money, sometimes quite a lot. You need expertise. It's definitely not a trivial undertaking.
Right, so there's a cost-benefit analysis there, weighing the expense of due diligence against the potential cost of not doing it, and hitting an unforeseen iceberg later.
Precisely. But Kjøller really frames it as, well, basically non-negotiable for any serious investor or acquirer.
You just have to do it.
Pretty much. He positions due diligence as absolutely fundamental, an indispensable step in properly evaluating if a deal makes sense, assessing the real risks involved. It's about basing your decisions on hard evidence and careful analysis, not just, gut feelings or incomplete information.
Okay, so let's maybe summarize what we've covered from Magnus Kjøller's chapter on due diligence. We've seen it's this critical deep dive investigation before a major transaction.
Right, the pre-deal checkup.
Usually involves that secure data room for sharing documents and a very methodical back and forth review process.
The iterative part, yeah.
And this whole exercise allows investors to get vital insights into a company's true state, spot potential problems or red flags, and ultimately strengthen their position when it comes time to finalize the deal terms.
And it's that thoroughness, that rigor that Kjøller really stresses. His message seems to be, approach deals with your eyes wide open, armed with a comprehensive understanding of what you're actually getting into.
This has been really insightful, looking closely at this key piece of the deal structuring puzzle through the lens of Magnus Kjøller's work. If listeners want to understand this better and maybe explore other parts of deal structuring,
then getting his book, Deal Structuring, is definitely a good next step.
Where can people find it?
It's readily available on Amazon, and I should mention it's getting some really great reviews, gaining traction as a really practical guide in the field.
Good to know. And you also mentioned a website.
Yes. For more tools, templates, articles, and resources related to all aspects of structuring deals, people should check out dealstructuring.com.
Excellent. Dealstructuring.com. We'll make sure that's clear for everyone.
Great.
So maybe a final thought to leave our listeners with, thinking about their own ventures or potential investments. Based on everything we've discussed about due diligence, what specific areas of a potential investment target would you personally want to scrutinize most closely? Something to reflect on.
That's a good question. It forces you to think about priorities and where the biggest risks might lie for you. Definitely worth pondering.